beautiful Tavarua in Fiji is it's always special. It really is paradise. There's perfect surf. The island is shaped in a heart, and it's just dreamy.
You know, you're stepping off onto white sand, all the locals are singing and giving you necklaces, and it's just such a warm, inviting place.
When you ask me what I like about Tavarua, it's everything. It's so perfect, you know, like there's not one drop of water out of place, there's not one palm tree out of place. All of the people are so nice and refreshing to be around, and it's honestly one of my favorite places in the world.
The waves here are incredibly powerful. You have restaurants, which is like, it's a sort of wave that you draw in your school book when you're a kid.
Restaurants, it's like a machine, and you just get the same wave over and over and again.
Incredibly shallow, and you're pretty much guaranteed to hit the bottom.
You just have to go out there thinking like I'm gonna make every wave, and if you don't, just hope for the best.
Heartbreak is one that will test you. Big and wild, and sometimes it's windy, sometimes it's glassy. You never really know what you're gonna get.
There is reef there, and it is sharp and it will hurt, but you know, the best water safety in the world is here, and it settles down your nerves a bit.
If you get a really good one at Cloudbreak, you'll remember it for the rest of your life.
I've been here for a few days, and I've seen all of the girls free surfing, and they are pushing each other.
Everyone's just getting so barreled.
It's so awesome to see and be a part of such a huge movement in the sport.
I think this year it's definitely going to be elevated a lot more, especially if the waves bump up a little bit.
It's nerve-wracking, it's exciting, everyone's pushing each other, and that's progression, and that's what we need to see for the tour to grow and flourish.
It is Monday, May 30th, day 2 of the event window here at the Fiji Pro. Competition kicked off yesterday in fun little waves at Cloudbreak. Some upset results setting up a fantastic second round, and shortly we'll find out if we'll get round 2 underway. But before we do, we want to get through some big stories on Dawn Patrol. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ronnie Blakey. First up, we're going to have a look at the classy performers from that first round. We're also going to be having a look at an amazing matchup between the current Jeep ratings leader Tyler Wright and the wildcard Bethany Hamilton. A little later on, Pottz is going to get brutal. He's going to be telling us who's going home after the second round. And then we'll also have a look at the GoPro Challenge. It's back on here in Fiji. But first up, let's say good morning to the boys. Ross Williams with us. How are you, Ross?
Good morning, doggy.
Great to see you. Good surfing yesterday over at Wilkes, mate.
You too. Good air, by the way. I saw it.
Thank you, mate. Yes. All right, Strider, you're over at Cloudbreak. A fun little session after the contest was called off.
Definitely, it's where the big boys play.
Who was ripping out the ladies during those free surf warm-ups?
You know what, Bianca was
Really?
blowing tail, just wrapping around, coming away with it. Really looked really solid out there in those glassy midday conditions.
Well, that's interesting because Bianca, a former finalist here, she tripped up a little bit in the first round, so she'll be happy to find her feet back out there in that lineup. Let's talk about yesterday. Some strong performances, some predictable results, but also a couple of big upsets.
Yeah, definitely. You know, for me, I think Malia was the most impressive, and that's a big thing to say because obviously a lot of the women were ripping yesterday, but head high, glassy lefts from Malia. She's got that beautiful technique. We always accuse her of having some of the, one of the best styles on tour. but you know, she threw buckets out there, boys, and threw down a couple of big scores. It was a big win for her.
If there was a parade for the best female surfers on the planet, I could see you at the front of Malia's float with the baton just twirling away. You're a huge fan.
I am. You know, it's always fun to kind of root for the underdog, and Malia, you know, she's yet to win a CT. You know, I think she's right there as one of those competitors that could really find her feet still.
Yeah, and then Courtney, you know, from the boat, I was up there from the big boat watching all day, and she just looked so strong. She was having so much fun, super loose. I think she was on a little bit more board. She had a little longer equipment, and I think she favors that. She likes to have a little bit of length to, you know, dig the rail in, throw a little bit of spray, and get a flow out of it. She got a really nice barrel yesterday, and it was one of those ways where you're like, well, okay, she's definitely here to play. She's been here, comfortable, and it paid off for sure.
She was cruising somewhat too. It looked like Ross. Didn't look rushed on any of her waves. Looked like the wave was just really dictating where she placed her maneuvers, but has a lot of power, obviously, and we touch on it often.
Well, you know, what we talked about too yesterday is the fact, I love the fact that we get to watch these girls surf on lefts, because all year long, you know, it's, for the most part, it's right-hand point breaks. So you get to see them put their backhand surfing on display. And you're right, for Courtney, she looked a little more fluid. You know, she always has that crazy stance where you know she's just going to nail a big move, but she was definitely feeling it.
Highest heat score total of that round. There was some other strong performances from the top seeds. Sally, two-time winner here, she looked sharp once again. Carissa's backhand looked a lot better here in Fiji than what it did on those shorter walls over there in Brazil, Strata. It's going to be a very tough contest, and one at the halfway mark of the season that's going to play a huge part in deciding our world champion for 2016. Watching on all yesterday's action from the channel was Rosie Hodge. Who was the standout performer for you, Rosie?
Yeah, that is a great call, Ronnie. I think, you know, looking at Malia, that was a good call from Ross, and then also the likes of Carissa Moore. I think her backhand attack is looking so sharp with CJ in her corner. That's always a good sounding board.
Definitely, and the call for today, we're going to see some heats in the water, Ro.
Yeah, let's find out. Jesse Miley-Dyer, our Deputy Commissioner, big birthday yesterday. We got round one underway. What do you think will be the call for today?
You know, I've been out here for a while now, and we came out at sunrise as we always do, and it's a little bit slow this morning, so we're actually going to go on hold. I'm going to do the next call at 8:45 for a possible 9 o'clock start, and I'm looking for a little bit more of that energy for that new swell that we're seeing, and I'm really hoping that it starts to push in with the tide change.
Well, there you have it. We're on hold, and hopefully we will see that new energy fill in, boys.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at what's to come. Strider, you've been keeping a close eye on the Surfline forecast, and it looks like it's going to be pretty clean, as it always is here in Fiji.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the forecast, and the interval jumps up. We get a nice, solid groundswell pushing in. You can see that map there, where you can see the low off of Australia in between, and just pushing up towards Fiji. So, you know, I think this morning, as early as around 11, you know, 10, maybe even sooner, we'll get to see that energy start to affect the waves here on Cloudbreak, and you can see the orange part, you know, the yellowish, it's slipping right up towards Fiji there. So we're going to have some surf, I believe, you know, come mid-morning here, and I think it's going to get underway. I mean, look at that thing ramp up right there. As you know, Surfline's got it coming in more around 1 o'clock, but it could come a little early, which would be great for us. And then it stays true all the way through Tuesday. Wednesday is still fun, and then Friday, I think that's our last day of our period, and it's still going to come right back in. So there's definitely some swell in the forecast, and it's going to be really fun.
And not too freaky for the ladies. It's going to be a fun year to compete, and maybe some adjustments having to be made, Ross, after a great run of swell and the lead up to this event kicking off.
Yeah, definitely, because you know, there were some really hefty days out there where everyone was focusing on getting maybe the ride of their life, i.e. Tyler, right? You know, so it is rippable out there when it's head high, but that long interval that you're talking about, Strider, at 16 seconds, that's a big benchmark. It could be thick out there.
It could get creepy. I mean, that thing hits the ledge and starts standing up, and I don't care who you are, you're like, whoa, hey, it's pretty scary out there when a 6-footer hits the ledge and just stands up in front of you and then backs off into the corner, and you just have to commit.
It could be surprises this afternoon with some big waves.
Well, let's hope so. A lot of great heats to come in the second round, but the one that we're going to focus on after the break is the Jeep Ratings leader Tyler Wright up against Bethany Hamilton. Welcome back. You're watching Dawn Patrol, Ronnie with Ross and Strider, and we are now going to have a look at, well, the biggest heat of the second round, you'd have to say. The Jeep ratings leader, Tyler Wright, who's won 3 of the first 4 events, going up against wildcard Bethany Hamilton, one of the most famous surfers on the planet, and for good reason. She is hyper inspirational. I know Tyler looks to Bethany for inspiration. This is going to be a good heat, because even though Tyler's been on fire, Ross, Bethany, I think her act, her performances in waves like this can't be overlooked.
No, I think she's fired up. You know, she's had a couple of chances, and she hasn't had that result that she really wants on the big stage. So this is her chance up against that yellow jersey with Tyler. But here's the hard part. You know, Tyler is so focused, and in that first round, Strider, she surfed a great heat. You know, very wave starved, and she scrambled out a couple of 5.5s or something in that neighborhood. So it's going to be a really tough heat for Bethany, but she's been trouping.
Yeah, you know what you said, you know, on point there. The waves were just, unfortunately, she didn't get the ones that she needed. And if she would have performed up. You know, she's number 1 in the world for a reason. And look, she's just tearing these little waves apart. But you know, the judges not rewarding her, as there was a few, you know, bigger sets out there, and she just wasn't on the waves to, you know, win the heat. I
think Tyler and Bethany both, because they were in that same first round heat, were both handbraked a little bit by the slower conditions. The heat after theirs flared up. We saw some bigger scores dropped, and the surfers had a bit more opportunity to throw down major moves. Now Tyler, looking at her track record in the second round, it is super impressive. Throughout her career, she's only ever been knocked out once in the second round. That was back in 2014. She had a 13th to Alessa Kazan at the US Open, but that's an amazing record. 1/13th in her whole career as a CT competitor.
Yeah, and to think about that, you know, she's had some amazing years where she's finished runner-up overall in the ratings, just right there, knocking on door for a world title. But this is the year where we're like, wow, everyone's just floored at how focused she is, and the work that she's done with Glenn Microhall. It's definitely paying off. The other cool thing to think about with this matchup in particular is if the waves do pop up and get really hefty, Bethany is going to bring it. And we all saw what Tyler did in her free surf, so I hope we see just a full Duke Fest with 2 brides. Let's
see it again. Here it is, that no-hands barrel, backhand tube riding at its best. Tyler, you'd have to say this is one of the best tubes you'd ever seen from a lady, and she just absolutely packed that thing. Touched the foam ball. Strider, you witnessed this thing live?
I mean, I did not, and I wish I did, because I would have been out in this session having the heyday. But really, I mean, take a look at this. She's off the bottom, puts her arms out, no hand, backside, weaving through this over the foam ball right here. I mean, this is like, if Slater did this thing, he'd be talking about it for weeks. They're going to be talking about this thing for years. This is ridiculous. I mean, that is so technical, so hard to do, and mentally paddling into that wave, you got to be winning already. That thing was flying down the reef. I mean, those are the waves I was talking about. When they show up, you're like, uh-oh, you know, and you really got to get into go mode.
Well, to be honest, Ronnie, I'm not surprised, because she's had some really heavy barrels at P-Pass and even out here. So it's in her DNA. We all know her brother's one of the best barrel riders in the world. So I think it's one of those things where you either have it or you don't. And so she has that natural instinct to just kind of mad dog big, heavy barrels. And she was on autopilot. I don't think she had a plan when she paddled in, like, hey, I'm going to no-hand this thing. She just reacted. So brave. It was really, really fun to watch.
It sure was. She actually has to turn it around. Some pretty poor history with this contest. A couple of 9th place finishes in the past 2 years if she wants to keep that spot at the top of the ratings. After the break, we're going to check out Bethany Hamilton. Stay with us. Welcome back. Still talking about that huge round 2 matchup between Tyler Wright and Bethany Hamilton. We had a look at Tyler's form in the first round and her results here in the past. We're now going to have a look at the wild card. Bethany Hamilton, she looked good in the first round, just a little wave-starved, but she is definitely one of those wild cards that I just think it could be a major threat. Some events, the wild cards are a little less threatening, but this one this is a good matchup.
Yeah, let's just put it in perspective. What she's overcome, Tyler's nothing to overcome. She's done so much in her life to make it through, to get to that point of success. You know, I mean, she's so good. I mean, she surfed really well in this heat. She got barreled. She was having a heyday. She's out there just slamming the lip. You know, she can be a definite threat, and Tyler's not going to take her lightly at all. I mean, she knows that she's going to have her hands full, and if the waves come up like they're due to, it's going to be on, and you know, Bethany's going to be having a great time out there and putting her head down and getting barreled.
I hear what you're saying. Definitely different challenges for these two outside of surfing even, but Tyler is overcoming a lot at the moment. She's overcoming two of the greatest surfers of all time in Carissa and Stephanie to try and win her first world title, and so far she's doing a fantastic job. But Bethany, Ross, she is blowing everyone's minds. Her surfing continues to be strong, and the thing that makes her such a threat is she has so much competitive experience. She knows how to surf a heat.
Well, what's so inspirational about Bethany, you know, we all get wrapped up in her story, and how can you not? I mean, she is a beacon of positivity. But technically speaking, if you just watch the surfing that she's laying down, that is legitimate on any scale. Perfect rail work. And as we've seen in clips from the past couple of years, she can go to the air. She's done some sick air reverses from the same place here in Indo. So, you know, again, you can get wrapped up in Bethany's story, but bottom line is she freaking rips.
She does, and she's enjoying her time here in Fiji. This was after her heat with Tyler and Nikki, and looking forward to this clash. She knows that Tyler's on fire. She congratulated Nikki that she's there with her little boy Tobias. It's just half a year old now, loving her time here.
Yeah, that family, you know, with Bethany, her husband and baby, when they walk past you, you get kind of wafted back by their energy. They're just a powerful couple, a powerful family, and it's really cool to have them here.
So who's going to win this heat?
I think Tyler's going to take it out. She's just too sharp. You know, I think competitively she'll be really tapped in. She's going to keep tabs on Bethany's scores. I think she'll outsmart her.
Strider?
I'm with him. I'm going to agree.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Tyler in the form she's in at the moment. But after the break, Martin Potter, he's going to throw out the big calls. He's going to let you know who's going to take out those round 2 matchups. Stay with us.
Spell on me now. good morning, and welcome to the Fiji Pro as you're joining us for Dawn Patrol. Amazing opening day of action as we saw the world's best take over Cloudbreak in very rippable conditions. We saw a lot of the standouts like two-time defending champ Sally Fitzgibbons breeze into round 3, but we had some interesting results setting up for some heavy matchups in the first sudden death round in round 2. The highlighted one we just went over. Tyler Wright, world number 1, will take on wildcard Bethany Hamilton. But as we know, round 2's the heavy one because we're sending people home from paradise, which nobody wants to do. Joe Chappelle alongside 89 world champ Martin Potter. A fun opening day, and by the way, you were absolutely ripping yesterday.
Oh.
Power's never going out of style.
Thanks, Joe. No, never will, mate. That rail game, I tell you what, you can never stop working on it. There's a tip for you.
Well, fun to talk about tips, but also thinking about round 2. This is Potts' picks, this segment, talking about who is going to be going home in the second round. And don't worry, Strider, Ross, Ronnie, they're on break right now. They're just going to be listening to your picks. I know we have a lot of debates usually in this segment, starting with this first one, Sage Erickson, Alessa Cuisant.
Well, let's start off first by saying, you know, to pick a winner is virtually impossible in this day and age. I mean, everyone surfs incredibly well. What we're looking at is an educated guess, right? And that's what we're going to work on this morning. You're going off form in these last round from these two surfers. You've got to look at Alessa Cuisant. I think she surfed a really smart heat. She was pretty much leading the way up until Sally got the ball rolling. She then tuned it up. She cranked it up a little bit. I saw the pizzazz. I saw something in her yesterday that I haven't seen for a while, so I'm going with Alessa Cuisant on that occasion.
Alessa Cuisant taking the win, Sage Erickson. They're both tied 1-1 apiece in one-on-one matchups this season. As we move on into the second heat, Bianca Batendog, runner-up in the contest last year, quarter in the past. Rookie Keely Andrew, their second start at Fiji. What were you thinking here?
Well, this is going to be a closer heat than we thought, but then when we talked about that swell picking up, I had this fade towards Bianca Batendog, especially after I heard Strider give me a little bit of inside info this morning about how good she was surfing yesterday after they called the event off. So power, style, a bit of experience out here as well. I think Bianca's going to be too strong for Keely.
An exciting matchup there as we look at round 2. Heat number 3. This is the big one we just talked about on the desk. World number 1, Tyler Wright. Is she going to survive round 2 against Bethany Hamilton?
I think she is, Joe. I think Tyler's too strong this year. I mean, you know, go back a couple of years, it might have been a different story, but we're looking at a different Tyler Wright at the moment. She's focused. She's got 3 wins out of 4 events. I think she's going to come into this event firing, which she did. Unfortunately, that heat she had was a little bit wave-starved. Nikki got the one better wave. Tyler Wright still surfed really well in that heat. I think she's going to be a bit too strong for Bethany.
And just coming off that barrel herd around the world, she's looking so confident. Tatiana Weston-Webb takes on Coco Ho. Tati undefeated over Coco in their career, including 2 wins this season and a better track record at Fiji. Who are you going with?
Well, if I was going with my heart, I'd go with Coco Ho, but I've got to go with my head, and I think Tatiana. I think she's coming off a shocker in round 1. I think it's probably one of the worst heats I think I've seen her serve, so she's going to be fired up to better that. And with the swell picking up, I think it's going to play into Tatiana's hands. If Coco gets the right waves, though, we're going to see a real good battle, but I think Tatiana's just a little bit too strong.
An exciting heat. Also, heat number 5, Joanne DeFay, semi-final last year, quarter in her breakthrough performance year as a rookie, taking on Chelsea Tuak, who's really in a must-win situation.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to play against her. I think there's going to be too much pressure on her. She hasn't won a heat yet this year. I think Joanne DeFay, this is where we saw Joanne starting to shine as that Rookie of the Year. I think she's going to be way too strong, especially with the building swell. Joanne just too comfortable out here. I think it's all the way Joanne.
Joanne DeFay, another one of those top 10 surfers in this second round. And Bronte McCauley has a big matchup with Laura Enever. Laura Enever back-to-back quarterfinals in Fiji. But Bronte sitting higher than Laura on the rankings as an injury replacement wildcard.
That she is. I think Bronte's had an amazing year. If the waves were a bit bigger, if it was in that 6 to 8 foot range, Laura Enever all day long, but I think it's going to be that tricky size where it's going to be in that 3-4 foot range. I'm going to go with an upset on that one, Bronte McCauley.
A big call there. Everyone making their fantasy picks at home. Round 2 is always a heavy one. There's more nerves there. No one wants to leave paradise early, and there's a lot on the line coming into the contest. One of our favorite parts about this event as well, there's an event within the event with the GoPro Challenge. We saw Tatiana Weston-Webb win this thing a couple of years back when she packed a solid one at Cloudbreak, but now it's wide open. Well, could see another winner here. $15,000 on the line if you do the GoPro Challenge in your heat. If it's a free surf, you get 10 grand. Criteria, cinematography, degree of difficulty, perspective, overall beauty, and lighting. So a much different criteria that we're looking for compared to winning heats, Pottz.
Yeah, exactly right. But you know, like you said, you put that camera, get that camera on your heat, and you could win 15 grand. I mean, it's a good little payday, especially for doing something you love.
Well, really exciting morning, and once again, the next call will be on at 8:45 local time. We'll be back here to check the conditions with our Deputy Commissioner, Jesse Miley-Dyer. Round 2 is a heavy one. Make your picks at home, and we'll see you back here on Tavarua Island at 8:45. See you then.